G'day, this is Simon and James at a very special 4th of July weekend, South Aussie Cars and Coffee. And what a morning it is. Crazy turnout, huh?
I know. I think it's, we always say that 4th of July weekend's the biggest South Aussie Cars and Coffee of the year, and this is no exception.
No.
There are so many amazing cars here, so many exotics that we're going to go check out in a second. What have you seen?
Yeah, I'm really excited. 3 Aussie muscle cars from the early 70s, the cars that I grew up with, including a Holden Tirana, which was my first car. So great to see those along here today. Really appreciate the guys bringing them out. Hey, don't forget, if you're coming to South Aussie Cars and Coffee, please remember no speeding, no revving, no burnouts. Please follow those rules, both coming to the show and leaving, including getting onto the 5 to keep the neighbours happy. Hey, let's go for a walk and check some stuff out.
Here we have a very nicely modded Gen 2 facelift R8. I think this is a 2020 or 2021 R8, finished in Mythos Black, the same color as mine. But I do love this new facelift. It has a Capristo lip on there, a nice set of HREs. I think they're P104s. And then just to top it all off, there is a VF supercharger in the back of this thing, so you know it moves. Very tastefully modded. Absolutely love seeing stuff like this at the show. We have an absolutely insane lineup of 1016 cars here today. Starting off with the 765 LT, then we have the VF tuned 992 Turbo S. Next to that we have a Sheepy Race Huracan Performante Spider. Absolutely love the interior on this. Then we have the SSR Performance full carbon fiber 1016 wide body kit with the VF supercharger on there, and then even more as we go further down this way. Really nice 720S Vision full carbon fiber RS6, and then the 720S Vision as well. Such a cool group of cars, and I'm so glad that Peter brought these out. Two very different takes on track cars here. We have the Huracan STO owned by a gentleman named Rob, who he's one of the regulars of the event, and he's spec'd out this beautiful Nero Nemesis Huracan STO, which is that gorgeous flat black, gold wheels and glossy carbon. Love this thing. And next to it is an Ariel Atom, which is one of the rarer cars that we've had at this show. This is the 4-cylinder version, I believe, not the original V8 that they made, but this thing is so cool. You can see it has harnesses on the inside, quick release steering wheel, and then I'm pretty sure it's either a 5 or a 6-speed transmission, but I can't even imagine how fun this thing would be around the track.
Every single day, I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave.
Man, can anybody say motorcycle? There are hundreds here today. We actually reserved extra space this week next to the Exotics Overflow for the motorcycles, and it's nearly full already, so great to see. Perfect day to bring them all out.
Go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They're deceived with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
I think this might be the ultimate daily driver. It's a Grigio Telesto Lamborghini Urus with a full 1016 industry wide body kit. Interesting choice of wheels as well. It looks like the factory Countach wheels that have been updated for a more modern Lamborghini look. But such a cool build. I love the color on this. Has yellow interior as well. I think it just works perfectly.
Fake it till you make it A, and if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst I say and turn them to a game. Take the best I say.
And now we come to the Aussie car part of the show, which is appropriate being 4th of July weekend. No, not really. We should do that on Australia Day. But anyway, starting off with this guy here. This is an XB Ford Falcon panel van. Now, panel van, we people think, oh, it's a hearse because it's got that back section. Not at all. We didn't have normal vans in Australia. This is the way tradespeople would get their stuff around. Now, if you look at the lines of this, you know what a Ranchero looks like. Well, this model Ford XB, just the same way as Holden did in Australia, just the same way as Chrysler did in Australia. They took a model, which in this case is the XB, they made a panel van, they made a station wagon, they made a sedan, they made a long wheelbase version called a Fairlane. This car basically was adapted into every version of vehicle that Australia needed, from a bare bones taxi model through to a luxury version to the high performance versions with the GTs, even to police cars that were available. And if the front end or the side panels look familiar, if you remember what the Interceptor from Mad Max looked like, that was based on this generation of Ford, but of course the coupe. So that's the first one we're looking at. We're going to do a separate video for these later. Next to it, a replica of a 1971 GTH 0 Phase 3. Out of all the collector cars in Australia that are worth big bucks these days, the real version of this is the thing that's pulling the most money, up to $1.4 million. Released in 1971 to go and race at Bathurst, Australia's famous mountain race. This thing had a 351, what they called the 4V motor in it. It was running a top loader, a 9-inch, had the shaker in the hood, which was a real shaker as well. This was, at the time, the most high-performance Ford available in Australia. And as I said, big bucks. Real versions pulling $1.4 million. Next to it, 1977 LX Tirana. This is the thing I'm excited about because my first car was an LH Tirana, the model before this. Essentially the same car, but with rectangular headlights and slightly different taillights. So this at the time was Holden's performance car as well. They had the Monaro, which was a bigger car, which was available with a 350 Chev in it. But the version of this with a 308, Holden built, Australian design and built V8, also available with a 253 and variants of 173 and then 202 6 cylinders as well. This was the car that Holden chose to race. They did it in a version called an A9X L34, which had a lot of go-fast parts of the engine, had a different stud pattern and 14s on it because it was actually running a disc brake rear end as well. But the version that this is an SS, which basically from factory came with 13s. Those flares you're seeing on it, that is bone stock from the factory. Those body kits came with the car. This one's running a small block Chev with side drafts. But M21 4-speed, for me, when I look at that interior, that spells home to me because that's where I spent a ton of my childhood. See these painted bumpers, that rear spoiler, that is all from the factory. That's the way this car came. Now, I've had people say it looks a little bit similar to a Vega. Yeah, I can see that. But remember that a lot of the designers that GM were using in Australia were ex-Chevy guys that have been taken over to Australia. So even that hood spoiler, that was an option as well. Everything about this car is just absolutely perfect. I love this thing. Love looking at this thing. I could stand here, man. If I could get one, I'd love to. But could be pulling anything from $120,000 to $200,000 for that these days.
With a purpose, all the energy around me felt nervous, scared I would pop out fast to the surface. Had to cut it off before you made me worthless. Torn apart, I've been torn and scarred. I had a given art, but now I'm thinking smart. I'm keeping up my guard, I'm hiding every card. A royal flush of bluff, you never know what's hard. With a back to the mat, gonna see where I'm at. I'ma fight like I'm mad, I'ma be something that they can never be me. Nice try, but they'll see I achieve everything while they stay salty. I can hear the demons call when they do what they do. And now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through.
Just saw this coming and pull into the front row, had to come back and film it. The most iconic Mercedes-Benz, in my opinion, of all time, the Gullwing. Look at this car, it is so beautiful. I just love seeing this. And it just rolls in with the rest of the cars and parks in the lot. Isn't this great? Look at this for some classic metal. This is a Buick Electra. This thing is spectacular. Finished in the original color it was shipped from with a factory. Look at that interior. This thing is absolutely beautiful on all angles. The owner came up to me before and was talking to me about the car. he's actually a designer for many automotive brands and used to be like a clay modeler. So it does not surprise me in the slightest that he'd choose a car like this with such beautiful flowing lines as this Buick. Love the interior. He was telling me he's about to put it through a little bit of a transformation, put some bigger wheels on it that still look like those original hubcaps. Really great to see. What a wonderful looking car. Magnificent looking 1969 Camaro here, Z28 badges on it. Not looking like a stock 302 small block to me in there. Look at that centrifugal supercharger, that Pro Charger under there, serpentine belt. This is a serious car. Skinnies on the front, big rubber on the back, running worlds. Amazing looking car. We'd like to actually welcome the guys from World as new sponsors of South Aussie Cars and Coffee, along with the guys from Forge Star and a few other brands. We'll do an announcement on that next week, but great to have them along. What a beautiful looking 69. What have we here? MC20. How great is it to see that? That's the new Maserati, of course, V6 turbocharged engine. This thing is absolutely beautiful. What a pretty car. Colour just does it justice as well, doesn't it? Isn't that magnificent?
That's going to do it for another weekend here. A very special 4th of July South OC Cars and Coffee. What a phenomenal turnout it was today. Hey, remember, if you want to keep coming to South OC Cars and Coffee, please remember no revving, no speeding, and no burnouts. And that does include coming to the event and leaving as well, and also getting onto the 5 freeway. I want to give a huge shout out to all of our sponsors. We have Maguire's, Polestar, Pacific Air Cooled, Next Level Detailing, Team Road to Safety, RPM Tesla Aftermarket Accessories, LKQ Pick Your Part, Bridgestone Roadster, and Carbontastic. And then I do want to say a huge thank you to all of our volunteers as well. We couldn't put this event on each and every week without them. If you want to become a volunteer, hit us up on Instagram at South OC Cars and Coffee Merch. So we handle all of our volunteer rostering, and then while you're at it, pick up some of the limited edition 4th of July South OC Cars and Coffee t-shirts while we still have some left. Remember, if you are a volunteer, you get to bring your car in before 8:30 and then park before we open up. And then Ruby Zana does also supply everyone with a free coffee and donut.
Yeah, big thank you to Ruby's for doing that. We really appreciate it. And of course, the outlets of San Clemente for allowing us to be here. Remember, if you need to do any shopping, come to the outlets. Make sure to tell them South OC Cars and Coffee sent you. Thank you also to the City of San Clemente and the Mayor, Gene James, for all of their support. That is it. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, follow, subscribe, all of that stuff below. Have a great week. We'll see you back here next week for another South OC Cars and Coffee.
Thank you, guys.